会的目的是这样子的。那首先我先自我介绍一下，我叫 Jeffrey，我姓杜哈，我是这个家住美国这个地产平台网站平台的这个地产顾问。那我们家住美国呢，是一个专门介绍全美国房地产的资讯的一个地产网站，里面有全美国的新房、旧房、二手房、商业及投资都有那些项目在里面，还有很多关于这个房地产的相关的资讯跟法规，我们都有很多文件在里面，所以很值得大家有空上去看一看。那如果不知道我们家住美国的朋友，你可以在这个页面上面有一个我们家住美国的这个网站哈，欢迎你们大家加入我们，随时给我们批评跟指教。那首先呢，有一个最重要的问题，在 before 我们进去到这个说明会之前呢，我有个事情想跟大家阐述清楚一样，就是在几个月前我接触Jason大师之前呢，我对大麻的观念就是完全就是 marijuana 的观念，所以我以为所有的大麻就是吃了会 get high， 或者说是illusion 或者说迷幻的东西都叫大麻。到后来我才知道说大麻有另外一个兄弟叫 hemp，H-E-M-P。那这个 hemp 呢，事实上它的作用其实是专门可以用到很多医疗上面用的，包括护肤系列产品，甚至还有食用油上面都可以用到 hemp。那我们这个项目呢，我们是不会，我们是绝对不会做大麻啊，没有 marijuana， 我们只做医疗麻。那别人大陆叫汉麻或者工业麻，那我们是叫医疗麻，因为它现在在医疗上面的用途呢是越来越多，所以就是今天就是介绍 hemp 这个的产品哈。那跟着下来呢，我要介绍一下今天这个主讲人 Jason 的他的简介一下。Jason Taylor 是我们今天这个主讲人，他是2015年是拿到内华达州第一个获准种植医疗麻的人。那他在这个业界里面呢是有非常好的 reputation， 而且他创造了很多记录哈，所以他在这个业界里面呢，他是已经有一些他的知名度跟他的经验，并且他也成功的把这个医疗麻的种植啦、运输啦，都推广到其他的国家，比如说是爱尔兰啦、奥地利啦这些国家去。那麻烦这个Tony 翻译一下这一段好吗？关于 Jason 的介绍。
Oh, 好的。So Jeffrey was talking about Jason was very popular and experienced hemp grower. He has over 26 years of experience in this hemp market, and he was the first one in 2015 to get permitted to grow hemp in Nevada. Also,不好意思，我刚才还有什么 ？Hello， 能听到吗？
好，这样可以了，谢谢哈。那接下来呢，就是必须要阐述一下，就是说，因为法律的规定哈，在说明会上面呢，尤其是我们比较有参与到比较医疗方面的说明会的时候呢，我们在法规上面来讲，我们不能提到真正所谓的投资金额跟这个所谓的将来的投资报酬率哈，因为这是法规。同时呢，所以我们今天是用一个说明会的方式，主要是来介绍这个项目的产品，所以这个说明会是不具有任何法律的追溯的哈，所以就是希望大家了解一下哈。那如果说大家对这个至于说投资多少钱，或者是投资报酬率多少的话，请跟我们联络哈，这上面有我们电话。那就欢迎你们就是私底下再联络。那我现在解释一下说这个项目呢，开发商呢，我们是作为叫 Phase One。那 Phase One 的意思就是第一块 lot， 我们会就是叫 Phase One。 那这个 Phase One 里面呢，它会有一个幼苗培育中心。这个幼苗培育中心呢，就是顾名思义，就是要将来就是种幼苗，种了幼苗以后呢，就再把它种到土地上。然后呢，这块 Phase One 的土地呢，目前可以盖我们叫 Grow House，Grow House 翻成中文就是棚啊，就是一棚一棚的意思。那这个 Phase One 呢，里面现在目前可以盖20个棚。所以我们就是用棚来作为计价的单位。那每一个棚的 size 呢，大概是3000平方英尺。然后呢，比如说Phase One 卖完了，那我们就会继续再做 Phase Two。那 Phase Two 卖完就卖 Phase Three。所以开发商呢，他们已经准备好了这个后面的土地随时可以增加。那刚刚有提到说，因为法规的规定。那我们这个怎么做投资呢？就是每一个棚为一个投资单位。那我现在只能讲说，这个投资期呢为5年的合约，然后投资金额呢，在30万以下。那5年的合约结束之后，将来的投资报酬率会在你投资金额的几倍翻涨，所以的投资报酬率呢很高。但是很抱歉，是因为投资这个法规的规定，所以如果各位想知道比较详情的话，会后再跟我们联络。另外呢，因为 Jason 大师他们的团队是非常有经验，而且是战战兢兢的在做这个行业哈，所以呢，他们本身呢这个团队跟这个内华达州政府跟这个 Las Vegas 市政府他们的关系也非常好。所以呢，他们也在计划当中，就是将来会找这个 UC Reno 跟这个 College of Southern Nevada 这2个大学呢，会做所谓的建教合作。那其目的呢，就是为了创造品牌。试想啊，就是说一块地，如果说同样2块地，一个是有学校建教合作，一个是没有的话，相信有建教合作的这家公司的卖得好的机会会比较多嘛。OK， 另外呢，就是因为 Jason 大师呢，他在业界是已经有他的知名度，所以当他跟人家报出去说他准备在开发这个新的合作伙伴的时候，在一界有一个很大的 wholesaler， 其实在2-3个月以前呢，就已经给他了一个所谓的 letter intent， 就是说将来只要 Jason 大师所种出来的每一个60棚，他全部都会先跟他购买。这个就表示说，这个是因为在农业产品上面来讲，产品的比如说种植者的这个技术跟这个know how 是非常重要的哈，所以说这是让大家知道一下，就是可能意思就是说，这个地还没开始就已经先把这些将来的材料都卖出去了。那现在这个20棚呢，我们已经卖出5棚了。那 Tony， 麻烦你简单的翻译一下吧。
好的。So because of the laws and the regulations, we cannot mention the investment amount and the return on the investment in this meeting. So if you have any questions, so please contact us. Our phone number is on the bottom of this PDF. Also, we are just starting our phase 1 of the greenhouse. The phase 1, we have 1 seeding cultivation center. It can be built total of 20 greenhouses, and each greenhouse has about 3,000 square feet. So after we sold out the phase 1, we have also phase 3. And once again, because of the regulation, we can only say the investment amount of each greenhouse is less than 300,000, and the rate of a return will be multiple of the investments. So with a 5-year contract period, now we have 5 greenhouses already being sold. We'll be cooperating with University of Reno and College of Southern Nevada in the future. So because of Jason's reputation experience, we already received 60 greenhouses product from our purchasers. 好，Jeffrey 你继续，谢谢。
OK，谢谢。那个接下来呢，再谈一下，就是因为我们在洛杉矶已经有好几位朋友，我私底下都跟他们联络过，他们对这个产品也是有所了解。那他们就跟我提到说，Jeffrey，after 今天的 meeting 之后呢，他们觉得说，如果他们有兴趣要投资的话，他们必须要到这个现场去看一下，看看农场实地考察，然后顺便跟这个开发商见面谈事情，这样子他们觉得说比较有安心一点。那我觉得这个是很对的哈，所以呢，他们就要求我说，如果说到时候是不是可以组织一个洛杉矶到 Vegas 的一个巴士团？那目前大概已经有6、7个人就报名了。那我现在的想法是，我会租一个大巴士，然后呢，大巴士大概可以坐58个人左右。但是呢，因为 pandemic 的关系，所以我现在的想法是说，如果有20个人报名，那我们就租一个大巴士。那最多呢，我不会超过35个人，因为我希望把这个位置做的稍微松散一点。那另外的要求就是要上巴士的人必须要打过疫苗，在上车之前要显示这个打过疫苗的证明给我看。那如果没有打过疫苗的人呢，必须在3天之内有所谓的 test report。那这个巴士团呢，基本上是2天1夜，然后我是请了我洛杉矶的好朋友，他们是旅行公司，因为我知道他们的价钱会比我们私人要订要便宜很多，所以呢，他们就定出来一个全部都包括的一个价钱给我。这个里面就是第一就是晚上我们住在 MGM Grand，然后巴士的所有的费用，包括司机小费，还有这个司机的这个吃饭跟睡觉，还有旅馆的 resort fee， 还有所谓的 tax， 还包括2个中餐1个晚餐的价钱，全部包在一起。如果是2个人1个房间的话是360块，那如果说是1个人1个房间的话是多加100块。那我们是准备8月7号礼拜六的等于就下个礼拜六我们出发，然后呢，在第一天呢，我们会去跟建商看实地现场，然后会到这个开发商的办公室去见面，了解状况。然后第2天呢，晚上吃饭以后，大家就稍微休息一下，可以 enjoy 这个拉斯维加斯晚上的这个小赌怡情一下嘛，哈。那第2天早上呢，我们有安排2个当地的建商，像 KB Home 啊这些房子的建商去看他们全新房子的建设。那因为现在听说这个拉斯维加斯新房的这个买房子的人，大概60%都是我们加州过去买的，所以很多人也希望说顺便去看一下那边40万、50万房子长得是什么样子。所以这个巴士报名团呢，各位如果要报名的话，我们是以这个先付钱就算结束，就算正式报名哈。那您可以在这个我们现在的页面上面，在右脚下有一个 QR code， 你们可以用这个你们的手机去扫描，那里面就可以看到报名的方式。那把你的讯息填好以后，我们就会收到。那如果说你是2个人或3个人报名的话，你就多填写，就是1个人填写一次，写完以后再填写一次第2个人，这样就可以了。那有什么我们收到你们讯息会继续跟你们联络，这是关于报名团的事。那至于说这个说明会之后呢，我等一下就要邀请 Jason 来介绍产品。所以介绍产品之后呢，相信有一些人会有一些问题，所以Jason大师呢，他会特别留下来回答大家的问题，好不好？那就这样子，那我现在就你们现在就邀请Jason大师来讲吧，Tony。Tony 可以邀请 Jason 吗？
Oh, sorry. Hi. Yes, please. Let's welcome Jason. Jason, are you there? Hello, Jason?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, yeah, we can
Okay,
get
let's welcome the Jason come to our meeting to introduce his expertise. Thank you, Jason.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Very good.
Did you want to share my screen real fast?
Go ahead.
There we go. So I'd like to start out today with the differences between hemp and marijuana. Primarily, marijuana will hold a concentration of THC above 0.3%, and hemp will carry a concentration of THC below 3%.
Jason, I'm sorry. Please share your screen. We cannot see your screen right now.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Can you see it now?
Not yet.
Let's share. Got it?
Yeah.
So the main differences, like I said, between hemp and THC is not only the concentration of THC, but CBD is allowable to be shipped around the world, and THC is bound by the various state constraints. A lot of people ask me, in my experience, where are the best places to grow? What are the best strains to grow? How do we maintain compliancy? How do we maintain consistency in the strain? I have chosen the state of Nevada for various reasons, primarily because of its ease into entrance into business with no state tax, as well as we are one of the sunniest states in the entire world, meaning I can drastically reduce down my cost by utilizing the natural sunlight for some of my plant feeding, and then supplement it with various forms of lighting to reduce my cost. Some of the other major things to remember about hemp is that the strain consistency and quality. I have gone to great lengths of breeding and consistency of quality where the 14 various strains that I deal with are all 100% compliant. They have maintained compliant status for the last 5 years, and they are also very low in THC concentration. Primarily, came from the breeding efforts that I did when I transferred and traveled strains and genetics around the world, primarily from Africa, Romania, Bulgaria, and Macedonia. Some of the other benefits of Nevada is that we are close to major airports and major ports of shipping, which allows us the opportunity to not only use the native environment, but also utilize our neighbors close to us for various international and national exportation. Although you'll look at the screen here and you'll see some of the natural disasters that happen around the world, this is another reason why I've predominantly chose Nevada over the last 15 years to grow hemp and cannabis exclusively. We are not subject to major earthquakes. We are not subject to major forest fires, nor do we have a lot of the inclement climates such as high humidities that other states have. This allows us to grow year round so that we can maintain multiple turns per year to maximize our profitability. Some of the screens that you're seeing now will also demonstrate some of the natural disasters. As you can see, Nevada is one of the lowest in terms of growing opportunities and natural disasters. Here's where we'll really get into the hemp versus marijuana. Marijuana, albeit great, has very limited medical, and other uses. Hemp, however, has multiple uses in both the medical field and other fields, plastics and biopharmaceuticals. Primarily, hemp right now is being used to study PTSD, AIDS. There's some stuff on cancer as well as using things to regulate the A1C for blood sugar and diabetics. So hemp will far outperform marijuana in the future. These are some of the various uses that we have within the plant, which surpasses what cannabis can be used for. We can create papers, stuccos, cements, shampoos, lotions, creams, all of these done in pharmaceutical grade environments, meeting the highest GMP and CGMP standards in order to maintain international shipping qualifications. As you can see in here, Nevada is still in its infancy in comparison to some of the other states for producing hemp. And main reason is because of its lack of understanding and how to grow it. One of the main things that I get constantly asked by many, many people is, well, is hemp different from marijuana? How do you grow it differently? What are the differences between it? When you're growing hemp, the biggest thing that people have a failure in is understanding how to grow it. Although it is similar to cannabis, it is grown differently than cannabis. It has similar characteristics, but if you feed it and nurture it in the way of cannabis, it has a tendency to grow what we would call hot or invalid hemp. And so understanding and having professionals like myself that have gone through painstaking process of 26 years of understanding helps to eliminate the curve of having invalid plants or growing plants hot. As we move coast to coast, you can clearly see that the hemp market is absolutely expanding in multiple states and will continue to grow over the years to the point where the revenue should exceed over $56 million in this year for just hemp flower alone. Some of the major players out there in both tobacco and cosmetics are now entering the CBD space because of the medicinal benefits as well as the benefits that they already currently have in some of the cosmetic products. The tobacco industry is looking at CBD as an alternative to cigarettes, which they're currently pushing out now and are scheduled for a slow down rate over the next few years. So as you can see in this next slide here, we have the CBD industry, which it breaks down the beauty, the cosmetics, the edibles, the inhalables, the pet market. All of them are scheduled to scale exponentially by 2025. And we are currently seeing this market now. We are currently seeing international sales in the multi-millions of dollars for compliant hemp flower. As you can see in here, there's also instruments that show that the fiber, seed, and oil market will exponentially increase between now and 2025 to $460 to $505 million. Here's one of the biggest differentiations. We get a lot of questions about why do people fail and why do people succeed? Biggest reason why people succeed is because they do things in a proper process. There's permits, there's the high quality of the genetics and the strains, there's the high quality of the master growers and the cultivators behind it. There's the understanding of the terpene content and the profiles that go into it. All of the little things that calculate for the growing season are what separates the good from the bad. Understanding that you can only use so much sun per day versus supplementally lighting the rest. Controlled greenhouse environments where we control the vapor pressure deficit, the PPFDs, our humidity, where we have complete control over our environment. Those are the true ways that people become successful in the hemp industry. One of my specialties has been throughout the year to go in and understand different various growing environments. And being a Nevada native, I have understood the dry, arid growing environment implicitly, which is why I've selected certain strains that are guaranteed to remain compliancy, as well as the strains that are the most sought after by a lot of my clients. A lot of what we like to do is prepare the field and prepare the genetics prior to going into the ground so that we have a full-blown plan of attack when we go through the growing seasons. As we move forward, we are seeing various differentiations in both the international realm in the UK, Switzerland, as well as South America are the new emerging markets for both hemp flower and hemp products. Also, part of the other thing to keep in mind is that the various certifications that go involved with it. CGMP, EU, these are certifications that we maintain implicitly to be able to ship our product around the world. I can tell you guys that through my experience of traveling around the world, we have here in Nevada some of the best soil and water conditions possible to grow this various plant. We have gone to painstaking measures to understand and test the water tables of the various wells and aquifers that we are tapping into. We have a very thorough filtration system that filters out all of the contaminants in the water to make it better than drinking water in order for us to covalently bond our organic nutrients to the water so that we're able to feed the plants in 100% organic nature, which will maintain our certification around the world. Part of our forecast as we move forward in this project is to start with initial set of greenhouses and then move forward with strategic alliances that we have built together in the industry to move our hemp flower not only nationally but internationally as well. Does anybody have any questions as we're moving through some of this information?
Yes, I do have a few texts from my friend.
Perfect.
First question is it legal for the hemp for the federal government and also the state government? How is that? Is it all legals or not? That's my first question.
Yes, sir. That is one of the other major differences where marijuana is still federally illegal, but legal on the state level. Hemp is both legal on the state level as well as legally on the federal level, which means we are allowed to do banking and do normal courses of business without interrupting FDIC insurance rates for banks. And that also allows us to move our product around the world.
Okay, and also the people who grow the hemp, does it need to be a license? And even the selling, does it need a license too for the selling the product?
Yes, they're both has to be similar to marijuana. There has to be both a license to cultivate hemp and then a processor's license, which is needed to go on ahead and sell the hemp internationally. And we utilize, the USDA and the APHIS approval system so that we can get governmental stamps to be able to move this product legally and safely around the United States and the globe.
Okay, good. And next question is, is any insurance purpose for if any like fire or stealing, any protection for the insurance or any manpower to protect the stealing?
Yes, sir. We do have various instruments of insurance for the buildings, but we also have crop insurance that is being tested on the federal level as well as a state level starting this year, which allows us to apply for crop insurance. Now, it does not get you the value of what the hemp product would have been. What it does give you the insurance for is the input cost, meaning your seeds, your water, your power can be insured against a natural disaster. Yes.
Okay, I heard that there will be in the future regarding the farm, you do have people who is 24-hour safety guard with a gun to protect the stealing. Am I correct?
Yes, we do have various measures of security in place. We have some agreements that we're putting together with the police department to do additional patrols, as well as 24 hours, 7 days a week security that will be there to ensure the safety of everybody on the property, as well as the safety of the plants on the.
Okay, and I have a question from the other people say that does the phase one has a water sources there?
Yes, we currently have a private well, which is very important because it is not a city well, which is attached to city water. So this is a private agricultural well that is tapped into a very large basin, which we are able to pump out in turn and then filter and clean to the plants.
Okay, and how the investor late return the investment money paid by the developer, they pay like I know there's a 1 year can grow 4 seasons, right? So how they pay, like pay one time or every season they pay to the investment back to the investor by season or by year?
I believe, and I will have to be, honest on this. I don't deal with the investment side. That's more Dennis and Ronnie.
Okay.
So I would have to refer that question to Ronnie or Dennis. I
Sure.
primarily deal with everything that touches the plants. If it touches a plant or the nutrients, I deal with it.
Okay.
But I do know they have set schedules on how they return the money.
Okay, sure. And anybody have a question, please just asking the Jason.
The biggest thing to focus on is the maintaining of compliancy as well as the ability to move this product internationally. I have some very specific clients through my international travels that I am able to liquidate very large amounts of hemp flower to. And I think that's the major thing to look at is not only the sales side of it, but the lower cost of entry compared to a cannabis operation.
How you see the how you see the potential of the hemp in the future market?
I think hemp is going to far surpass cannabis,
Mm-hmm.
and mainly because where cannabis falls short and hemp can be moved around the world, and the medicinal compounds in hemp will far surpass what comes out of the compound cannabinoids of THC.
I see. So which is mean in the future there's a more product can be used by hemp, right?
Absolutely, because as we move forward, not only can hemp be used for medicinal purposes, but it can also be used as a agricultural thing to revitalize the ground, the air. Hemp is a carbon negative plant. It's one of the few plants on planet Earth that's carbon negative, meaning we could plant hemp in various areas with heavy smog and heavy contaminants in the soil, and we can clean up the air and remove the contaminants in the soil. So as we move forward in the future, there's probably about 15,000 different uses for hemp, from cell phones to batteries. They're making capacitor batteries for the shuttle. They're looking at it in Tesla for car parts in Tesla. So hemp will far outsurpass cannabis because cannabis can be used for none of those items.
Okay, there's one more question regarding Frank asked me before. He said, why Vegas, not California? But I answered the question to him. I don't know it's correct. Maybe you can adjust me. I say that first of all, California, the land cost is too high. Second, the people labor charge is too high. And third is Nevada got more sunshine than California. And most important thing is Nevada is state tax free. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Not only are all of those items correct, but I actually did a 1,000 acre hemp grow in the state of California. And
Okay.
it was so expensive, it got out of control in cost. What cost us the most, and I can be honest with this, it cost us over $1 million just for our water. So the
Yeah,
cost of entry in California is so astronomical compared to Vegas that it doesn't make sense. The regulators have not put enough regulation into hemp yet. The water and the land is extremely expensive. The labor is very, very expensive. And what we have here that California doesn't have is California has not only forest fires, but very bad earthquakes. We
right.
don't have either one of those in Nevada. So where we're at in Southern Nevada, all we get is a lot of sunshine and heat. So the only thing that we ever have to mitigate is heat. And when you're looking at all the elements that you have to mitigate from a growing perspective, and there's probably about 500 different elements that I look at each and every growing opportunity. And Nevada crosses off over 400 of those 500 opportunities, making it one of the most premier places to do it because of the no state tax. We have more sun than we know what to do with, which allows us to supplement our lighting and reduce our energy costs, which are extremely expensive in a cannabis and or hemp operation. And so those reasons alone are the reasons why I've chosen Nevada over Arizona, California, Utah, all the surrounding areas.
Okay. And what about the hemp will get the support or benefit from the state government or the city of Las Vegas?
Yes, sir. Being that I was the very first permittee in the state of Nevada, I have an impeccable relationship with some of the highest ranking members of the agricultural department out here. I helped create the hemp laws for the state of Nevada. So I deal with them on a daily and weekly basis to understand how to use the federal government and their methods to help us ship this stuff legally internationally. And so because of that, I really feel like Vegas and Nevada is a stronghold because our government is so proactive about revitalizing our agricultural community, and they're doing that through hemp.
Okay, great. Okay, that's all I have the question. Anybody has a question, please speak up or write in that.
Yes, we have one QA question. So how do we compete with the overseas importers?
So the way that I compete with the overseas importers is I have strategic alliances and business associates through my international travels where I get guaranteed contracts for a fixed price. And the reason that I do that is because I don't like to grow into the dark. I don't like to be very speculative in a very topsy-turvy industry. I like to grow for source, meaning somebody says, Jason, I would like you to grow this for me and I will pay you this. That's what I tend to grow for because I don't like to hold product. In this industry, we are not a warehouse driven industry. We grow it, we sell it. So I grow to spec, and that's what prevents me from being stuck in a rut where I can't move it both nationally and internationally. And that's how I compete on the international market with my strategic alliances.
Okay, there's one question from Jay. He said that we see lots of store pop up in the city like Zen Leaf. Are they selling hemp? Do you know that?
Zenleaf, are you talking about Zenleaf? I know the owners of Zenleaf personally. They're really good friends of mine, and they actually buy my hemp.
Okay. Okay, that's a question from Jay.
Yes, sir. I actually know the procurement manager in Nevada, and I'm a supplier to them for some of their hemp flower.
Okay. So anybody has a question? If not,
And Jason, we got one. Zhi Jing has a question asking for you. This is government support program.
I'm sorry, you broke up on me. Say that one more time, please.
This is a government support program.
Yes, yes. What it is that the state of Nevada has gotten behind the agricultural push because as of COVID, being a casino-driven environment, we realized really quickly that once casinos close down or due to issues, there are multiple things that disrupt our economy. So I've talked to multiple people from the director of our agricultural department to the director of the hemp department to the director of the seed department. Everybody is focused on trying to revitalize our agricultural community. And one of the few ways they know to do it is hemp, both fiber and greenhouse hemp, which is flower hemp. Now, there is a big difference, and I want to make sure everybody understands this. When we're doing greenhouse style, we are growing smokable hemp flower or that kind of flower. When we go to the fiber side, we go to an outdoor realm where we look at thousands of acres to be able to supply enough mass to decorticate enough fiber to move it into the market. And that's another big difference between the flower side of hemp and the fiber side of hemp.
If anybody has a question for Jason, please hands up or just type the question in the chat box. Thank you.
okay. Thank you, Jason. Let me finish up the meeting. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
OK， 谢谢大家今天来哈。那就是我再提一下，就是巴士团，你们随时可以给我们电话联络。那我就重复一下，就是有20个人，我们就出团。那目前是有6、7个人会报名，跟我们联络，或者直接在这个扫描这个2维码，或者在这个 chat 里面呢会有这个巴士团的连接，然后把你们的讯息填进去，然后我们会跟你联络。请尽快哈。那另外就是结束后，各位如果有任何问题，可以随时打电话给我，或者打电话给 Marcus，我们可以回答你的问题。